Here we are continuing talking about the Harvest Moon remakes that are the Story of Seasons games, and today's topic is going to be Grand Bazaar. So how this game starts out, it's pretty simple, kind of starts out like a lot of other farming sims in general, not even just like Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon, but it's your character moving to a town, and they're like, hey, we need a farmer, and you're like, well great, I want to be a farmer. So there we are. This town though, when you move there, it used to have this huge bazaar that like attracted people from all over. It was this big deal, but ever since their old farmer moved, the bazaar kind of died and has just become this really tiny thing. So now that you, the new farmer, is there, they want you to build this up and make it bigger and better than ever. With that being the basic premise, it of course has all the other features that like Harvest Moon Story of Season does. You know, you got your farm, you get plenty of animals to take care of. You can do like mining and stuff in order to make objects, which you're gonna end up doing a lot more of, like making things such as like these perfumes or this like special kinds of mayo or jewelry and whatnot, because you need stuff to sell at your like booth at the Grand Bazaar. Because in order to level it up and get the story going and essentially like beat the game, if you will, is you have to get the bazaar to the highest ranking. And how you're going to do that is you as a farmer have to sell a certain amount for whatever the goal is for the next ranking, and you also have to add however many stalls needed for that rank as well. And of course, how you unlock those stalls is as you just go through the game, build up relationships, and you're opening the other stalls. Then people will approach you as the time goes on saying, hey, I'm thinking about opening a stall. Do this request for me though, so that I am able to open it. This game is actually also pretty generous, speaking of some of the mechanics, because usually you have, I would say, about till like 2 a.m. or midnight before you need to go to bed, or you're going to be exhausted the next day. This game will actually let you stay up till 4 a.m. Now, if you do stay up, I believe it's kind of like later than midnight, you will wake up later in the day. So instead of waking up at like 6 a.m., you'll wake up at 10. So you do lose some time, and especially on Bazaar days, which is every Saturday, losing that time is not that, like, it really actually kind of hurts you. Any other day of the week, being able to stay up that late without the consequences can be really helpful. Just make sure you don't do it on Friday nights, because the bazaar opens, it's from like 10 a.m. in-game time to 2, you have the morning bazaar, and then from 3 to 7 you have the afternoon bazaar, and you definitely want to be able to maximize your time at the bazaar. That way you can sell all your stuff. So you definitely don't want to end up waking up right when the bazaar opens, because until you get a certain upgrade that like allows you to transport, you're gonna have to run all the way across town in order to get to the bazaar. So, you know, you just don't want to lose out on that time, especially considering you still have to take care of your animals and your crops if you had any. So just as a small helpful hint from me, you could say, I honestly really enjoyed my time with this game. I found anytime I picked it up and played, I really enjoyed the bazaar aspect even more than I thought I would. Like, it's made as a really fun and like satisfying game when you actually manage to sell everything. So basically anytime I picked it up and played, I would at least play through the week until that Saturday in game, so that way I could hit the bazaar. And then obviously, you know, sometimes I might go a day or two past, but I would pretty much always play at least about a week's worth of in-game time anytime I picked it up, just because I wanted to get to the bazaar. Because like I said, it was actually really fun and everything. Now, as for all the NPCs, there's actually a pretty good amount, and it's kind of cool that in this one, you will have a lot of just kind of random town people who don't technically live there walking through, and you can even talk to them. And I mean, it's pretty basic dialogue, it's nothing special, they don't have names, but it is a nice touch that makes it feel alive. And in some ways, like, your bazaar is actually doing something, because you actually start seeing all these random people coming through who don't live there. So it feels like, you know, the bazaar that you're opening, and as you're upgrading it, it feels like it's actually doing something and you're able to see the differences, not just on Bazaar Day by having a bunch of different stalls open. There are also, of course, plenty of characters that you can make friends with, and just friends, but then there's actually a decent amount of romanceable male and female characters as well. I will admit, sometimes some of the requests can be a little annoying and very specific, so it can be something you might... Sometimes the request can be a bit of a drain, but for the most part, they are pretty easy to fulfill. Like I said, there's just some, like there's one, I'm not gonna say exactly who it's for, but they want, because you can grow crops that are sometimes strange fruits, such as like, you can grow a potato and sometimes a star potato will come. And they want one of these like odd fruits or veggies, but not just any odd fruit or veggie will do. They have a list of like, I think it's about 9, maybe 6 or 9 that they're willing to accept. And so it's kind of annoying because it's like, okay, why do we gotta accept this very specific? Like, you won't just accept any weird crop, any special crop, it's gotta be this specific. Why are you being so picky? I feel like that's a little ridiculous. But other than that, like, I've enjoyed everything with the NPCs. Like, their stories, I mean, it's not any, you know, revolutionary character building, but they're good. I like their character designs. They're interesting and diverse enough that there would be somebody for everybody. So, you know, like I said, it's nothing crazy revolutionary, but it's good for what it is. They don't feel completely bland and boring and forgettable. Now, I will say there are some mechanics, such as this game, it gives you some kind of like, because you can jump, which also isn't necessarily very common, but you can jump, and if there's wind, you get some air in like this little leaf parachute thing. Think of like the glider, like a glider from like Breath of the Wild or something. And you're supposed to be able to use that to parkour up to like where the, you know, harvest sprites and everything, because there's always those in the Story of Season Harvest Moon games. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it is so difficult to get up there. I basically never go up there. Like, I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong with it or what, but parkouring with a little paraglider, it's not easy. It's like, it's super difficult. There are upgrades you can get for it that should make it easier. Like, even you can get a double jump little upgrade feature, but it's still just something I struggle with personally. Other than that being essentially really the only mechanic I don't like, there's of course plenty of competitions, and you can do things such as enter your animals or crops into these competitions, and let's say you enter your chicken, you can actually get it to become like a kind of like name brand thing, like think Tyson chicken or whatever, but it would be name brand obviously of your farm, which then when you turn around and sell it at the bazaar, you're gonna make more money back because it's this big deal recognized kind of brand thing, which honestly I think is kind of cool, because you can also just upgrade the quality of like the chickens, of the eggs they lay and everything, and you can upgrade your soil, which of course gives you better fruits and veggies. But to have the competition where you can put them in and get to the highest level, and then, you know, you get that the name brand, is also a really nice feature. And I haven't gotten to that point, but yeah, I'm sure it would make you a decent amount of money. This game also, because I mentioned it has the crafting feature, so how you end up crafting is there are 3 windmills in town, and you slowly unlock them throughout the game. On more windy days, the stuff will build faster. It'll build no matter what. It'll sit there and make it, but just windy days, you know, make it a little faster than normal. But you're going to be using the windmills a lot, because that's how you get, like, if you get the eggs, you can make it into mayonnaise, or like you get the milk, you can make it butter or milk or yogurt. And then the other windmills will also include upgrades, such as something I do a lot of the time because it gives more, is like make the herbal mayonnaise, and then you can make the jewelry there. That is also how you would upgrade your weapons, weapons, your farming tools, not weapons. This is a farming game. This is not Rune Factory or something. But that's where you would upgrade your farming tools to make them better and more efficient. So like, you know, that way with the watering can, instead of having to do each individual square of the field, you can do a super water and like jump up and water a bunch of crops. So that, you know, obviously is very important to know. And in order to even get the better stuff, you do have to use the tools, such as like to get the better hammer and whatnot. You're gonna have to, you know, to like get silver plus or gold or whatever on all your tools, you're gonna have to be able to break silver or gold rocks. So of course you have to go and upgrade from there. I honestly, like I said, I really enjoyed this game, especially for what it is, you know, being a farming sim. And I definitely feel like it brought more to the table and was diverse enough and interesting enough that it's definitely worth checking out. Like, I feel like all of the Story of Seasons / Harvest Moon games are good about having these things that really set them apart from other farming sims, or even just other games in the series of whatever the gimmick or mechanic is, and Grand Bazaar is just another example of that. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like. Maybe let me know what your favorite Harvest Moon game is, or who your favorite NPC from this game was. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do my best to upload review videos every Friday, and I'm getting back into streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time on Twitch, and I plan on uploading like highlight reels of that, so you know that's always gonna be a fun time. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, all the socials, Discord, it's all linked down below. I'm pretty active on those other socials because it's, you know, a little easier to stay active on them, so if you want to keep up to date. But that is gonna be it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.